Hello, and thank you for joining PlanSmith for our latest webinar on budgeting and forecasting in times of uncertainty. My name is David Schweeder, and I'll be moderating our presentation as I'm joined by my colleagues and team of experts who are ready to answer all of your questions. So, before we begin, let's start with a question. Did your 2020 budget include the possibility of a global pandemic? I didn't think so. Well, the good news is you're not alone. In fact, most institutions didn't see that one coming either. Here at PlanSmith, our clients are asking some great questions, such as, how do I handle negative rates? When will this change to the economy impact our loan portfolio? And probably the most common that we're hearing, what about the effect on my 2020 budget? The good news is PlanSmith is here to help as you start reforecasting your projections for the remainder of the year. With that, I'll turn it over to Roxanne, and she can review and discuss the changes to our current rate environment.
With the Fed decreasing rates in two big moves this month, bringing the Fed funds target rate to near zero and prime back down to 3.25, naturally the immediate thought is, how quickly can I measure that impact? Many of you have called to ask, how do I update the driver rates when the new rate file will not be available until April 6th? This means our current pricing models in Compass are based on the higher market environment. Not to worry. The good news, this is something that can very easily be accomplished in the Compass model. Once we know which driver rates we want to change on the rate forecast screen, you can quickly edit any and all key rates that need adjusting to have your updated models show your true reflection of your current offering rates. After computing the plan, your changes will immediately flow through your plan, and you can measure the results of that change in the account projections and your financial reports.
Thanks, Roxanne. That was very helpful. I'm going to turn it over to Jim, who's going to take our rate conversation a few steps further and cover negative rates. So Jim, take it away.
You've seen how easy it is to show the impact of rate reductions on your bottom line. But what if those rate reductions take some rates into negative territory? We've had a number of clients ask us how Compass will handle negative interest rates. But what does that really mean? In this section, we'll discuss the potential impact of negative rates on balances at the Fed, loans, and deposits. Here, we're showing negative interest rates forecasted for both Fed funds and the 3-month T-bill. Fed funds is negative in July, August, and September. If the Fed were to actually pay a negative rate on your balances, how could you show this in Compass in your budget? First thing to be aware of, this account's offering rate is linked to Fed funds using a model. Notice the offering rate is 0 in July, August, and September. Compass will floor the offering rate at 0 if you use a model. So, how do we get a negative rate and income in Compass? To enter a negative rate, first remove the model on the offering rate by switching the model to manual. Next, type in the desired negative rates. Note that July, August, and September now show negative rates and negative interest income. Impact on loans. Will you actually issue negative rate loans? Probably not. Will you issue a 1098 with negative interest on it? Probably not. The impact of the current situation will probably result in reduced loan fees along with lower loan rates. We'll discuss planning for lower loan rates later in this presentation. Same questions for deposits. Will your rate sheets have negative rates and APYs on them? Probably not. Negative rate impact on deposits would normally result in higher fees, but many of you may be reducing certain fees in accordance with customer needs.
Thank you, Jim. Now I'm going to have Jenny discuss how all of this impacts your loan portfolio. Here's Jenny.
All right, so you as financial institutions are actively trying to evaluate how you plan to work with borrowers impacted by the pandemic and are concerned how the changes will affect operations. Quantifying these potential outcomes is easy with Compass, and we'll show you a few of these examples here. You may be planning to offer payment accommodations by extending loan repayments. Use Compass to instantly see how the temporary loss of those cash flows will affect your operations. First, you can view the interest income in the income statement report or at the account level and select the Print tab at the bottom of your screen and make your data selections. This will become the original plan for a base comparison. Each month, as Compass is updated, the monthly principal cash flows are captured from the loan information in your core processor files. This data can be viewed and edited in the Maturity tab. In our example, we'll plan a 90-day extension. We're assuming that all scheduled payments will be pushed out to further time buckets. But your process will be extending the scheduled maturities out as many periods as your institution intends to offer borrowers. Start by highlighting the scheduled maturity column through September 2024 and select Copy. Manually zero out maturities and exit rates for the next 3 months, then paste the copied values beginning the very next month. You'll be out of balance by the amounts that were zeroed out and overwritten by the paste function, but that amount will be displayed as the difference in the ribbon at the top of the Maturity tab. Zero out the data in the 5-year time bucket, and that will be added to the difference displayed up at the top. The last step is then to type in that new amount to the same 5-year bucket to get back in balance. Get immediate feedback on the earnings impact by viewing the change to your annual interest income directly at the bottom of the screen. Use the Print tab option to generate a new account level report to compare to the original forecast, or you can run a plan compute to view new results and compare that to the original income statement report. Of course, the hope is that extending loan repayments or increasing credit lines will alleviate some of the burdens on customers experiencing hardship. But realistically, financial institutions must consider the likelihood of higher loan delinquencies that could translate into more credits being reclassified as non-accrual or charge-off. Our clients ask how to model such events in Compass to see the financial impact. For example, if you have a customer who is already delinquent in making their payments, you'll want to model the anticipation of having to move that loan to non-accrual status in your forecast. Determine the total outstanding principal balances, the monthly scheduled principal payments, the loan rates, and final maturity dates. Use a quick edit function to reduce the scheduled paydowns by the monthly payment amounts. Add that amount in the first month of the scheduled maturities column along with the loan rate. Compass will automatically add that outstanding principal balance to the new balance column on projections to get the equal number you previously projected as your end-of-month balance. You can now reforecast your end-of-month balance to take out those newly added new balances or adjust your growth model as needed. Setting any growth models on the account to manual, lowering the new balance in the forecasted month by that outstanding principal balance, and Compass will then project all balances going forward. You will be able to see the impact on interest income reflected at the bottom of the account projection screen. The final step is to add the outstanding balance to the non-accrual account in the first projected month. This will complete the migration from the active loan account to the non-accrual account. If you fear increased loan loss experience, there is an ALLL model function. This model option allows you to assign a percentage to your overall loan portfolio, estimate net charge-offs or recoveries for various time periods, and Compass will calculate a new monthly provision expense that automatically ties to both the reserve and the provision accounts. Every time you change your loan growth estimates, the provision expense will recalculate based on the new volumes established in the plan. To track the impact of potential loss of future loan production with the effort on yield, use these 3 steps for tracking the impact. First, you'll want to reduce the new loan pipeline forecast in the Projections tab. There are several ways to accomplish this depending on your specific outcome. You can use the Global Growth Model functions at any yellow folder category or account level to affect the entire portfolio's forecast based on the last EOM book balance. Click on the Change button underneath the EOM balance heading. Choose the Quick Model option to forecast a single growth rate, positive or negative, to entire portfolio forward from the last month of balances. If you'd like to test a smaller sample for a shorter time period, then you'll want to use the manual setting at the account level. From here, you can use the Quick Edit functions to affect a specific period balance in either the end of month or the new balance columns. To model the runoff with no reinvestment of new balances, simply zero out the volumes in the new balance column, which will adjust the EOM forecast. Again, you'll get immediate feedback on the impact of interest income at the bottom of the account projection screen. If you want to model 50% of your loan payoffs renewing over the next 3 months, or the non-renewal of a certain sum over multiple months, use Quick Edit functions. You can simply reduce the new balances in each bucket you'd like over multiple cells. The easy part is that there are a variety of ways to make changes with these Quick Edit options. The more challenging part is guessing the correct outcome. The next significant piece you'll examine is the change in loan yields. First, generate an income statement and a yields and cost report as your original base plan. Then, view the driver rates that your pricing models are tied to. Here in our fixed rate loan example, the offering rate model is tied to the 5-year CMT. In the rate forecast screen, adjust the 5-year CMT forecast to reflect the current rate environment in the first forecasted month. Then add your predictions for the remainder of the current year or additional years to test the impact on the future. Then simply compute the plan and generate a new income statement and yields and cost report to compare against the base case. When testing individual variables, such as impact of rate changes on loan yields or volume, make individual copies of your plan and adjust a single set of variables at a time to better compare the scenarios for isolated changes. Otherwise, continue to work in an all-in-one database to plan out your entire forecast at once.
Now for our final part of today's webinar, I'm going to turn it over to Jim, who's going to talk about how that may impact your deposits. And since none of us have an actual crystal ball, discussing how the use of PlanSmith's scenario comparison will give you a better shot at predicting these possible rate outcomes.
So you've seen how to plan for some of the potential impacts on your loan portfolio. But what about your deposit portfolio? Scenarios may include mixed changes where CDs migrate to non-maturity deposits, as well as some impact on fee income. One likely scenario is for many CD customers not to renew their CDs, but rather transfer the funds to non-maturity accounts like savings or checking. In October, November, and December, you can see I have $53 million in CDs maturing, and my plan shows those balances being renewed in the form of new balances. I need to change that projection to show a half of those maturing CDs migrating to savings accounts. My changes reflect reducing the new balances in that time period by half of the $53 million, or a total of $27 million. I now take that $27 million and add those balances to my savings account forecast for the same months. Here we see the new forecast for savings with the addition of the $27 million. Due to the current crisis, Many financial institutions are offering a waiver of CD early withdrawal penalties for some CD terms. If you decide to offer this option, your plan should address both the impact on income as well as the balance sheet. In this example, I moved 50% of the CDs maturing in October, November, and December to April, May, and June to reflect the early withdrawals. If providing some relief to some customers in the form of fee waivers, you need to adjust the current plan. In this adjustment, I'm reducing fee income by about 50% over a 4-month period. So you've taken the time to replan or mock up some of the scenarios that you've seen today. What's next? Your Compass software has robust standard reporting, but it also has some specialized tools like the scenario comparison report. As you can see, there are many standard reports available in Compass. I'm not going to go into detail on the standard reports in this presentation, as we already have a comprehensive tutorial on this topic. What I'd like to do today is review a more specialized reporting tool, the scenario comparison report. The real power of the Compass software is in the ability to easily test ideas. When faced with uncertainty, it's best practice to examine multiple scenarios in order to understand their potential impact on your business. The scenario comparison report is the perfect tool designed expressly for this purpose. You pick the number of scenarios to compare along with the time frame. Results are displayed at a high level to keep you from getting lost in the weeds. The report will even choose the best case scenario based on what's important to you. Here, we can set weighting factors for various metrics that will appear in the report. The results for each metric, along with the weighting factors, determine the best case scenario. This report is a good tool with big picture results. If more information is needed about a particular scenario, I suggest using the standard report set.
Thanks, Jim. That was great. I think my main takeaways is not only is it easy to make those changes to your budget, but also it's very important to run those different forecasted scenarios. And really what we want to stress here is that PlanSmith is here to help you. So please reach out, contact us. You can reach us at support@plansmith.com. And on behalf of PlanSmith, thank you for joining us.